What's your dream job? When I was a kid, I dreamed of being a truck driver. Something about that open road, the big rig, and freedom. As I got older and hopefully a little wiser, my dreams changed. I became a master mechanic because my dad was a mechanic. He taught me how to fix cars. And at the ripe old age of 16, I signed up for Denver Automotive and Diesel College. That was the launch of my first career. Being a master mechanic was a great way to pay for college and support my young family, up until the day I got fired. Losing my full-time job as a mechanic at Sears, along with all the benefits my family had come to rely on, was a shock. But it turned out to be a huge blessing in disguise. If you've ever dreamed of building your own business, you can probably relate to my story. If you're one of my clients, this video is for you. I want to share my story, my journey in becoming a business owner. Maybe you're not my client, but if you're interested in a story about a guy who used to be an auto mechanic, who got fired, and then got really lucky by becoming a State Farm agent, a guy who made more money than he ever dreamed he would make, and then learned that more money wasn't the answer. Then, while struggling to find meaning and purpose in a business that was mostly about selling stuff, this guy became a certified financial planner. He was the first and only certified financial planner in the Houston area who was also a State Farm agent able to charge a fee for financial advice. The problem was, even though with the best training available, as a captive insurance agent, you're only allowed to sell the specific products and services available at State Farm. And in order to be an independent fiduciary financial advisor, that just doesn't work. So this guy leaves his bird nest on the ground at State Farm to go work on Wall Street. Now, during his time at Morgan Stanley, he learns everything possible about investment planning and wealth management from one of the best wealth management firms on Wall Street. Morgan Stanley had an army of research analysts, financial advisors, and investment bankers who all worked for Morgan Stanley. These were all really fine people, but the products and services, including all those fancy Wall Street investment products, were designed with one purpose: profit for Morgan Stanley. The myriad of hidden costs and conflicts of interest was enough to make a guy dream about what it would be like to simply provide the best solutions to clients without all that gluten. Take a mutual fund, for example. Any do-it-yourself investor can invest in a mutual fund, and smart investors know how to figure out a good mutual fund from a bad one. An overpriced high-load fund from a Vanguard no-load fund. And really smart investors know about ETFs, exchange-traded funds, and all the reasons that an ETF portfolio is so much better than a fund of mutual funds. Because mutual funds all have managers, and they all charge their own fees. Not to mention the bigger issue of all the gluten that's stuffed into those mutual funds. The fillers in a mutual fund are one of the problems. It doesn't take long working on Wall Street to figure out how it all works. But you could be working with a Wall Street financial advisor forever and not have a clue about all the hidden fees and conflicts of interest. Would you care to know that every mutual fund offered for sale at Morgan Stanley actually has to pay a big fee to Morgan Stanley just to be available on the Morgan Stanley platform? At the end of the day, your Wall Street financial advisor is an employee. Sure, we all talk about my business as if it's actually my business. As a guy who's been fired, let me point out one very important little indicator. In fact, if you want to quickly find out if your Wall Street financial advisor is actually calling the shots, remember these two characters, W-2. If your Wall Street financial advisor works for Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo, UBS, or Ameriprise, among many others, I'll bet you a cup of really good coffee that they're actually W-2 employees. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand how it works for W-2 employees who work for companies that measure success on a quarterly profit basis. That's why an army of Wall Street financial advisors have left the big bank behind. Meet the future of financial services. Meet RIA. Registered Investment Advisor is the fastest growing segment in the financial services industry for a couple of very good reasons. Number one, because guys and gals like me one day dreamed of building a business that could actually make a difference without all the rules, boundaries, and limitations that come from working for a big company who's always in control of everything, including what price, products, and services my business is allowed to offer my clients. Number two, obviously, another reason for this army of financial advisors deciding to take the first exit off Wall Street is the money. The big banks on Wall Street need bigger and fatter fees just to keep that army of W-2 employees on board. And your financial advisor only gets to keep a small percentage of the advisory fees you pay year after year. The independent RIA business owner gets to keep more of the advisory fees you pay. And when you're dealing with the actual business owner, you get to negotiate a much better, lower fee. RIAs and financial advisors are kind of like State Farm agents. They're all different. As a State Farm agent, you're a business owner. You decide how much of your profit you want to invest in providing excellent service. You can hire great team members, or you can hire the cheapest employee you can find. You can manage your office in an effective and efficient manner, or you could go fishing every day. You could incorporate systems that are designed to ensure excellent service for your clients, or you could just let stuff fall through the cracks. When this guy left Wall Street, he had the blessing of taking everything he learned at Morgan Stanley to build something better. His goal was to build an advisory business, providing investment management and financial planning that replicated the platform at Morgan Stanley in the wealth management department. With the technology available today, that's a lot easier to do than you might think. When this guy started his company, Bayrock Financial, he did a lot of research before investing in the best technology available. And as it turns out, the technology available to an independent RIA is actually better, more current, more efficient, and much more cost-effective than what that guy had at Morgan Stanley. With the right tools, the right technology, and the right systems in place, this guy knew Bayrock would be able to deliver smarter strategies and better results. Just about the time Bayrock was being registered as a Texas-based RIA with the SEC, this guy had lunch with one of his old friends, Scott Bishop at STA Wealth Management in City Center. Scott and his partner, Cy Catan, offered this guy a great opportunity to work with their team under their RIA, where they focused on financial planning and investment management for wealthy families and business owners. STA Wealth and their team offered something far better than Morgan Stanley because they were an independent RIA instead of a big bank on Wall Street. Scott Bishop was the smartest person this guy ever met when it comes to financial planning. They worked together to refine a financial planning process that could be used across the team. Scott liked the process that this guy outlined in his book, Make Your Money Count, using the blueprint for financial success. The process includes a free gap analysis designed to generate a comprehensive financial model based on each client's specific situation. The gap analysis goes much deeper into the discovery process than most financial advisors are trained to do. Cy Catan introduced this guy to the wonderful world of private equity in a way that goes way beyond anything available at Morgan Stanley. While private equity, REITs, that's real estate investment trusts, and other alternative investments were definitely a part of the Morgan Stanley platform, the fees and the conflicts of interest at Morgan Stanley made these deals much less attractive than what's available to an independent RIA. Within a year or so of working with Scott Bishop and Cy Catan, they decided to merge their company with STA Wealth, which meant this guy had to sell himself to the new partners, including Mike Smith and Luke Patterson. Their vision at STA was like many of my friends who are leaving Wall Street. Their number one focus is to scale their business and increase profits. About the same time, this guy's friend, Jeff Thomas, who worked at Morgan Stanley, had decided that he wanted to break away from Morgan Stanley and become an independent RIA. Jeff and this guy had become friends a decade earlier as a result of a Houston Kingdom Advisors meeting. For years, this guy would refer clients to Jeff's team at Morgan Stanley whenever this guy, as a State Farm agent, needed investment management for his clients that went beyond what could be offered as a State Farm agent. So the time was right for this guy to work helping Jeff and his team transition from Morgan Stanley to become an independent RIA. They both hoped they could figure out some equity partnership arrangement, but it became clear to this guy that Jeff's preference was to maintain control, and at some point, Jeff offered this guy a role as a W-2 employee. That's when this guy knew it was time to move on. About that time, this guy met another friend, Robert Challenger at Tremont Street Advisors. This guy had a good friend who's a CPA and a Christian brother named Mark Rush. And Mark introduced this guy to Rob, and they decided to work together to design the best RIA possible. With this guy's experience, combined with Rob's experience as a Wall Street wholesaler, they were both very confident that they could create that ideal independent RIA business model. Rob's vision was much like Luke's and Jeff's and most of this guy's friends who left Wall Street to build independent RIAs. Their vision, their goal, their priority, their objective was to scale their business. And sure, it's actually what all business owners really want to do, to grow their business at scale. It makes sense. And this guy believed that Rob and him working together could help each other achieve their respective priorities. This guy's priority was to build the ideal platform so that he could use that platform to better serve his clients and his prospective clients. Over about 2 years, Rob and this guy surprised themselves with their success. In their very first meeting, they agreed that at some point, if they ever decided to go their separate ways, they would both be thankful for having had the opportunity to work together to build something very special. On August 5th, they made the decision to go their separate ways. Bayrock Financial, LLC, officially filed with the state of Texas, again, to become an independent RIA. Here's why that would matter to you, assuming you're a current client or a prospective client. Number one, operational control, including the ability to hire a great team. Offering equity to younger certified financial planner professionals who like the Bayrock business model. Selection of the best tools and technology for creating smarter strategies and better results. Number two, investment management, including private equity, alternative investments, and partnering with the best of class capital firms like Inland Capital and Cantor Fitzgerald. Portfolio management designed to maximize returns while minimizing risk, using low-cost, high-yield, super liquid ETFs for tactical trading strategies instead of old-fashioned, overpriced mutual funds. Investment policy statements for each and every client. By the way, at Morgan Stanley, you don't get an IPS unless you have over $10 million in assets. At Bayrock, anyone investing $100,000 or more will receive a customized investment policy statement that reflects their goals and their risk and their opportunities. Number three, holistic financial planning, including access to your own online planning portal with a document vault, consolidated performance reporting, and much, much more. A free gap analysis conducted by a certified financial planner practitioner. Advisor coordination. Because what we've come to believe is your CPA isn't talking to your family attorney. Your family attorney isn't talking to your insurance agent. Your insurance agent isn't talking to anyone on your advisory team, and your investment guy is talking to himself. The Bayrock Blueprint for Financial Success is a different approach to managing wealth. Holistic financial planning, investment management, advisor coordination. At Bayrock, we're dedicated to helping individual investors, families, and business owners manage the risk and opportunity of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and realize their highest purpose. Smarter strategies and better results. To learn more, visit bayrockfinancial.com. To schedule your free gap analysis, visit cfpconsult.com today.